Hi, I'm John. This is my show, An American Scheme, where I'm proving that Motown killed Michael Jackson. So I'm going to show you right here. This is Mary Wilson, one of the original members of the Supremes. And now she's going to tell you here about when they first came to Motown. I want you to hear this.
Okay. So by the time we got to Motown, it was, I think, around 1960 or 61. So we wanted to sign our contract. And Mr. Gordy said, okay, you can sign your contract. However, you got to change that name. I don't like that name.
Okay, so that's the first part. Then she goes and rambles on. But then the second part of it, now she actually explains what actually happened, why he made them change their name.
We did not read the small print at the bottom of the contract that said, and any new name you would get, any fictitious name you'll get, the Motown owned that name. So they ended up owning the name Supremes, which we really didn't know until like years later that we did not own our own name. So I regret that. Any lawyers who want to take on my case?
So what happens is Berry Gordy, right from the beginning, so this is the Supremes, right in the beginning, even at that time, he was stealing from his artist. He was forcing them into contracts that the people were not aware of the contracts that they were signing. And Berry Gordy was taking ownership of his artist. He was taking ownership of their property. The Supremes, she said there, they came up with the name The Supremes. Berry Gordy didn't come up with the name of The Supremes, but Berry Gordy insisted for them to sign the contract that said once they signed the contract, any name that they call themselves will be then owned by Motown. He owned the name The Supremes. You know how much money the name The Supremes is worth? That's for all of the merchandise. Anytime you want to you could put on anything. The Supremes. That name is incredibly valuable. But Berry Gordy, does he even mention to them any part of what he's doing? No, he just steals it from them. And not only does he steal it, he tells them right at the beginning, well, you can't even sign this contract unless I get to steal from you. That's what it was about. All about stealing and controlling. That's what Berry Gordy did. That's what he did to the Jacksons. You know he did this exact same thing because as soon as the Jacksons leave Motown, they drop the name the Jacksons 5 and they go with the Jacksons. Because that's proof right there, and everybody who knows anything knows exactly. Because Berry Gordy did that to them. He took their name. He owned it. He owned them. He was all about ownership. And then think about what he would have been doing to the Jackson 5 and to Michael Jackson when he was a kid, forcing him to lie, total control, everything. And remember, I'm saying that Diana Ross and Smokey Robinson are Michael's real parents. So now you've got Berry Gordy, who has a child with Diana Ross. You've got Berry Gordy, who has Smokey Robinson as vice. He makes him vice president of Motown in 1963. And then in turn, Smokey Robinson names his children after Berry Gordy. Names the son Berry and the girl Tamla after the first thing, the Tamla records. So the connections are right there. The Berry Gordy's got control over the Jacksons. He's got control over Smokey. He's got control over Diana Ross. Everybody in Michael Jackson's life, Berry Gordy has total control over them, right? But then when you get older in life, now Michael had to go through all that stuff, left him because he knew there was a bunch of crap going on there. So Michael leaves them. But later in life, Michael then starts harping about the Sony and Tommy Mottola. Oh, and he's the devil, he's the bad guy. And everybody's saying, oh, Sony killed Michael and stuff. Okay, you're going to tell me that the damage to what Motown did to Michael and what Berry Gordy, that didn't matter? You're going to tell me that has nothing? You ever hear Michael talk bad about them? No, because he's in fear of them. They control him. If he wasn't in fear and if they weren't controlling him, then you would hear him speaking about them and telling you the real things about what they did, much more. But no, he doesn't do that because they totally are in control of him. So who does he do? He starts crying out and yelling at Tommy Mottola. Okay, but Michael Jackson, not only was he an experienced businessman, he's completely an adult by the time he gets into those record contracts with Tommy Mottola. So you're going to tell me now that whiny little loser, Michael Jackson's going to start calling Tommy Mottola the devil because of some contract that he got into that he didn't like? This Michael Jackson would have known everything. And who's he whining about? Oh, Tommy Mottola and all the fans. Oh, Sony killed Michael Jackson. It was Sony. You're morons. You are so stupid. It was Berry Gordy who owned him. It was Motown that killed Michael Jackson, owned the Jacksons, totally controlled everything. They're still alive. Berry Gordy is very much responsible for the death of Michael Jackson. You guys want to do something for Michael Jackson? Let's blame the people who caused all of his problems. Berry Gordy. Motown murdered Michael Jackson. And you fans don't care nothing about anything.